repeat, and it didn't happen, of course. But there's really only two people I can kind of sort of hold responsible for this game. And well, I wouldn't say two to hold responsible, but two people that I want to talk about today. And one is a Super Bowl champion for multiple organizations, for the Chiefs, for the Giants. He is actually the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo. Now, people want to understand why I have Spags in the doghouse. Well, Spags was a part of that team that allowed 44 points in the Super Bowl. Not only did they allow 44 points in the Super Bowl, they allowed the second most points in the first half of the Super Bowl. The most ever was 25 by the Washington Commanders. They were the Redskins at that time, who were up 25 points in Super Bowl 23 against the Denver Broncos. So, they were up 35-10 at halftime. But the Kansas City Chiefs, who's known to have a good defense, who's known to create pressure or cause turnovers or make you do things that you're not used to doing, they allowed 24 points. Well, let's just say they allowed 17 points because Patrick Mahomes gave up a pick six in that as well. But still, that's what happened. Not just that, though. Not just that. The Chiefs' defense just was not all that good yesterday. They only got 2 sacks in the game. They didn't necessarily stop Jalen Hurts from having a good game. They did contain Saquon. Saquon did not go crazy in that game. But Jalen Hurts didn't necessarily have an issue with that defense at all. Jalen Hurts had his second best performance in the Super Bowl against the same exact team that he lost to before. There didn't seem to be like there were many adjustments to be able to not allow Jalen Hurts to be able to use his legs and get first downs, even though they were containing Saquon. They couldn't contain Jalen Hurts for nothing. And Hurts learned something from the first Super Bowl, and it was if you have an opening, take off. And that's exactly what he did. The Kansas City Chiefs just couldn't stop them from doing anything. They couldn't create any turnovers for real. They did got an interception that Jalen Hurts had threw, but the offense didn't score any points after that. So there was not much he could do. The Chiefs were just the regular team that game. They allowed 345 total yards. They had the same amount of drives as well, but they didn't dominate the time. The Chiefs offense only had the ball for about 23 minutes. The defense was on the field almost the entire game. I think we know who had the better defense in this game. CJ Gardner-Johnson had said something after the first Super Bowl. He said, play on regular grass and see that the offensive line will get destroyed. And that's what happened. The offensive line got destroyed. But the Chiefs' defensive line couldn't do nothing. Chris Jones didn't really have much of an impact. He got hurt in the game as well. They were undisciplined. They were getting penalties called back and left and right, holding on the defense, roughing defensive player. Like they was undisciplined football. And Spags, you're the head guy. You're the guy leading this team. And this is exactly what you allow. You allow this Philadelphia Eagles team to put up 40 points, on your team. You lost 40-22. Spags, I still think you're one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying that you're a horrible coach, because you're not. But you guys just could not control the time. You allow Jalen Hurts to have over 300 yards by himself, and you allow 40 points. I mean, in the Super Bowl at that. It's the biggest stage there is in the NFL in the Super Bowl. And this was the most watched Super Bowl game in NFL history, averaging 127.5 people watching throughout the game. It was also the most watched halftime show, but this ain't about the halftime show. This is about the game. And Spags, you guys just choked it up, man. You choked it up. You couldn't do nothing about it. And now you're in the doghouse. So, Spags, you're in the doghouse. My guy, you in the doghouse.